Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today I'm going to be cutting the furring for the openings in the rain screen. It is a gigantic mess in here. It's like every time I'm working on this, I'm rushing to beat the weather. So I got all this foam left over. I'm done with the foam, but I'll be using foam again for the insulation on the inside. So the next rain day, which will possibly be later today, I might get this done. I don't know. I gotta get in here and clean this up. The deal today is that it's beautiful out right now. It's cold, but it's beautiful out. I hope to get all of these parts cut today. And I would like to get the top two, these top rails, installed on the addition today as well, if I can. It's right around 10 o'clock, and it's supposed to rain at about 1. So, I have 3 hours. We'll see what can get done. I have to go through, some of these are really long boards and they're very heavy. These are 1x6 treated. What I have to do is cut them to rough length, which is, I generally go an inch larger than the final dimension. Then I'm ripping them down, ripping them on both sides to straighten them out a bit. I don't have my jointer and all my other tools set up. I really don't have a shop except for my saw. So I can kind of straighten them out on the table saw just by sighting down them. And if they got like a hook at the end, I can generally get rid of the hook and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is cut them at 5 1/4 inches and then turn it around and cut it at 5 inches. So these wider ones are all 5 inches wide, and then these are 2 inches, which I'll get 2 per board if I'm using the 1x6 stock on them. I'll get these mulls out of whatever I can. So I need 2 of everything on here, 1 for each side of the addition. And then I have a back one as well. This is the machining instructions, where the holes go. And this is where the mulls are placed. That's the positioning instructions. And if I can get this, I don't know what the hell it is. I can never get bags apart when they're stuck together, new bags. And sometimes sheets. There we go. Guess it's a big fumbly hands. That is the back window. This window will be fully assembled with pocket screws and then put in place like that. These, I'm going to do the top rails. What I'm going to do is put screw boards in the openings. I'll show you on a different one. Oh, right here. I'll put a board in the opening, screw it to the header here and here, and then I can just balance the board on there. I need it exactly right at the top of the opening, and that'll do it. I have to put water stop on the top edge of it and where the holes are, push it up tight, and then screw right through the foam and everything else right into a stud. These get fairly big lags. This holds the weight of the windows. So, hi kitty. Yep, I know. Best place to go is where I'm concentrating if you want to get petted. So, I'll explain that more as I'm doing it. I'm not going to be able to film every little thing here because, like I said, I got 3 hours to get this done, get as far as I possibly can. And I have to roll the chop saw outside so it doesn't get even more messy in here. Chop saws just make so much of a mess. So let me get started on this, and I'll come back and show you stuff along the way. Well, so far so good. I have the top and bottom rails cut and the stiles for the doors. So there's not a whole lot more than that. What do I have here? That is this part, bottom rail, top rail, and both sides, excuse me, both sides of the doors. I need this stile here, all of the stiles for the side window. I need this section of top rail, and I need all the mullions. I'm not going to really get into how you sort lumber in this video, but you generally start with the longest, widest, most critical stuff, and then work your way to the little stuff, because a lot of times you can get this just out of scrap and save yourself some wood. But the reason I stopped right now, I was cutting these stiles, and all of a sudden it got dark. It was beautiful out, and it just got quite dim all of a sudden. So I think this is the leading edge of the rain coming, so I better pick up my pace. Okay, the sun came back a little bit, still cloudy. I had to go and cannibalize one of the boards I have for the rest of the furring. I should have 6. I had to cannibalize 2 of them. Either that or waste a whole lot of wood on these mulls, because they're 2 inches. If I got them out of 1x4s, you know, it'd be much more waste than getting 2 each out of 1x6 material. But not a big deal. These are the ones that I saved. I sorted through this, and the 4 that I saved are nearly perfect as far as being straight, the full length, and nice and flat. Natalie and I, when we sorted these out, they were all fairly well dry, which is really surprising, and they were straight as an arrow. I mean, the whole stack was really nice, so really unusual. So anyways, 2 of these go together for each outside corner, and then the inside corners get a 1x6 and a 1x4 put together. So I have the 1x4s, so I'll have to get a couple more 1x6s. But it's no big deal. That can be done anytime. These window and door frames need to be done like right now. So now I have to move all of this stuff and get it inside over in the addition. This, which is going to be worked on later, needs to come on the floor in here, as does all the rest of the furring, which has been sitting in the shade on the side of the house since it was bought, 3 months ago. So I gotta move this in, move that over, move all that stuff that's on the side of the house over here, and I have to dice up all this treated wood that's going to be burned. I'm not burning the longer stuff, but all these cutoffs and shorts, big pile, is going to get burned over in the Oak Savannah area when I do my burn there. So I got to get a box and do that. By the time I get all this done, I don't know if I'll be able to put any on the house or not, but at least I'll have them inside where it's dry and relatively nice, and I can do all the drilling and stuff tonight. So that's a good thing. I'm not sure what is going on with the forecast, so I'm going to get all this stuff done, and then I'm going to go have lunch and check the forecast, and if it looks like I got a big enough window, I'm going to machine the top boards and start getting them in place. All I expected to get done today was get those cut. So if I can get the top boards in place, big bonus. All right, let me get at it. Okay, all done. I got everything cut. I got everything moved to the other side, and I have all of the raw furring strip stock brought over here. That was kept outside in the shade all summer, so it's still in real good shape, but it's wet from the last rain, so it'll dry out fast enough. I just don't want it over dry so it starts curling and twisting and stuff. Once it's screwed in place, it's not going to do that. Okay, I'll show you what I got over there. Okay, got a little bit of a breeze kicking up, but not much. We can deal with it. So, this is all the framing for the windows and doors. The rest of the stuff just gets straight strips. Like on the back, it's just real long straight strips. And on the sides, it's shorter ones above and below the windows. That is pretty easy and can be done at any time. It can be freezing, whatever. This stuff I want to get done on a fairly decent day because the boards that go above the door and windows is going to have some of this water stop. It's going to have a bead of it along the top, and I'm going to put it around every place where a screw is going through. That way water should never get behind the top members. It doesn't really matter on the other ones. Okay, I'm going to take a break now for lunch and check the weather, and if I got a good enough window, I'm going to start installing this stuff. Okay, I'm back from lunch, and the weather forecast has changed to no rain until at least 5. So that's the whole rest of the day for me anyways. It gets dark right after that. Not that I have a huge amount to clean up or anything. Okay, this is a DeWalt oscillating tool, and this blade on here is brand new. I got a bunch of these for scraping the stickers off of the shipping containers that we have, and I've never really used them for anything else. It's got kind of like a knife edge on it. So let's see how well it works. Yeah, I just got to be careful so I don't dip too much into the foam, and that should do it. That's Natalie. Yeah, I can get this done real quick. Okay, I got these all drilled, and the reason they're pre-drilled, these big old specs will easily drill themselves through this. They don't need to be pre-drilled, but having them pre-drilled, I need to be exactly in the right spot. So it's better to do it this way and not take chances. And this thing, it sits like this. It has a 10-degree bevel on the top. And it's going to get a bead of this roof kit water stop on the top. I used this on the rubber roof up there, and I thought, wow, this would be great stuff for this application as well. So I tested it out behind a piece of wood on foam, and it is really nice. It's non-drying. It just gets kind of stiff and a bit tacky. So it'll seal this up no matter how much it moves. And if I put it around the screw holes as well, I'm going to put a circle around the screw hole and then I put a little bit in it and then flip this up into place. And any water that follows, where is that? If it follows the shaft of the bolt, if water gets on here, it's going to hit that water stop. That's kind of how the rubber roof stuff works. It really can't get past the water stop. It's very unlikely that water will get past the siding, but the whole idea behind this is that they found that the majority of water that gets into a wall cavity comes from the outside, not the inside. They used to have, heavy plastic. They had you put heavy plastic on the inside, and what that was doing, water was getting in from the outside and was trapped there and was rotting the walls. That was, 70s, 80s, whatever, the earlier thinking on that. Now you don't put a vapor barrier on the inside at all. You got a vapor barrier on the outside and the drywall. If moisture gets in there, it can wick into the house, or it can actually move through this foam in time. 2 inches of foam has about the same perm, I think it's called, as house wrap. At least that's what the thinking was when we designed this. At any rate, after taking this stuff apart, there was zero rot anywhere, so no water is getting into the wall or behind the foam. And that's the biggest deal, is keeping water from getting behind the foam, especially in the window areas. It really can't do it up there, but above the window, if it were to follow a screw, see, if it went behind that top board, all it's going to do is come out right here. That will be behind the window, but it would travel down the window, and then this has an angled sill. I got some of this stuff from Matt Reisinger. I'll put a link to his channel. But he got it from, what is that again? buildingscience.com. That's where I got the original designs for the house, which is the same as this. This just has thinner foam on the outside, and that's because I don't have enough time to do machining and stuff for this complicated design. So bead at the top. Any water that gets the most chance for water to get in is at the top, because it vents at the top. There'll be vertical slats, well, especially on the back. Any hot air that gets in here has to go around the windows, but it'll have a clear path to the upper part where it'll go through vents at the top, and there's vents at the bottom as well. It's called Cor-A-Vent, and I'll put a link to that as well, and I'll show it to you when I put it on. But basically it's a 3/4 inch wide strip of venting, plastic venting, same thickness as this, and I'll put it between the strips at the bottom. So as this heats up during the day, the warm air will rise and exit the top. It's a pretty slick system, and it's very waterproof and very energy efficient. So let me get the caulk on that and get it in place. Yeah, any water that does get behind these wood strips will soak into the wood and then just evaporate slowly. It's not like there's going to be much water behind the siding. Like I said, at the vents at the top, it would have to be wind-driven rain, and it would rarely happen, and it would completely shed. Why is a long board? I tested this water stop and what is it, Max? Quad Max caulk, which is a really high quality caulk, and I decided to go with this because it did not eat at the foam. Neither one did. And it's, like I said, it remains, kind of tacky pretty much permanently. Did I get all my holes? I believe I did. Yeah, this is made for roofing, and the Quad Max is made for ceiling windows. One's made for a flat surface, keeping water out of a roof, and the other one is made for, what am I looking at? Oh, this. The other one is made for sealing up a window. This stuff is really flexible too, but I will just use that on the windows, and this is going to work perfect for this. So once I put this on, I'll just smooth this out and get a nice bead there, and I should never have any problems. This is the only place, because the window attaches right to this, if water gets behind this, it'll get behind the window. It'll get within the window frame, or not within the window frame. It'll go down the side of the window and it will get into the sill. It can get right out of there. It's not going to be caulked at the bottom, and it has an angled sill, but it's best to just keep the water out of there. Okay, let me set this thing up. Okay, one down. I had to split this into two boards here because Menards did not sell 18-foot 2x6s, treated 2x6s. But that's okay. But because I have a joint here, I'm going to put that water stop between the joint. But this board right here, I'm going to split it a little bit. What I'm going to do is put a bevel right here, put a beveled split. This side, all it gets is brick molding up against here. It's not super structural. The door will be sitting on the sill and be screwed through the sides into the frame. The window, on the other hand, will be hanging from, top, center, sides, and, well, yeah, the bottom too, except the bottom's not caulked. So the window needs more support than the door does, so I'm going to bevel sideways and put a small channel here just in case water gets through there. At least that's what I'm thinking. You could see up there, I think. Let me try to show that. I put a little extra of the water stop on there. It's squeezed out, but I put a little bit of extra on there. These are 3/8 inch by 6, by 6 spacks. And the reason for the big heavy duty spacks is that, like I said, these are like cantilevered out. This is how, skyscrapers are built like that as well. The outer skin is hanging from an inner structure, and there's foam in between. So this has to hold weight. It has to hold the weight of all the windows. Well, this in combination with the other pieces has to hold the weight of the windows. So I can't just put a couple nails in there or a couple little screws. It'll start sagging and fall apart. So hence the big spacks in there. And then I'll have 2 more in here and some on the bottom as well. So the windows are not going anywhere. Oh, that cat. Tater, no. No, don't go up there. Okay, back to work. Okay, that's going to be it for today. I got a lot more done than I thought I was going to because the rain held off for an extra 3 hours. Didn't quite hold off for an extra 4 hours like they were saying, but and take what you can get. So I got the top 2 pieces and both sides of the door in, which is also the side of this window. So I have 4 window mulls and the bottom to put in. The bottom's going to be the hardest because I can't rest it on a cleat or a dead man like I did with the top. And it goes a precise distance down. So I'll make some kind of a rig with clamps and stuff to hold it in place. I don't want to chance, just holding it up against the wall and try screwing it in. Make some kind of a rig. It's hard with this foam. I don't want to be screwing stuff in, I can't screw a cleat into the foam. So that's why I'll just hang it from something from the windowsill. So it will not take much work to do that. And if I remember right, it is just supposed to rain into the morning and be done by early morning sometime. So I'll let it dry off a little bit. I can just towel this stuff off. There's no adhesives with this step, so all I need to do is drill the holes, get it in place, and screw it down. So I can do it even if it's drizzling out, I can do it, but right now it's getting close to the end of the day, and it's going to start pouring out soon. You can hear thunder in the distance. So that'll wrap it up for today. Make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon so you can see the coming videos. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And a like and or a share would help the channel out greatly and would be appreciated. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.